Another Fisherman's Tale is a puzzle and adventure game that was built from the ground up to take advantage of VR's unique capabilities. It was published in May 2023 and is the sequel to A Fisherman's Tale from 2019. To start, the game mechanics were extremely refreshing. It was a really fun and unique decision to have the gameplay focus on the ability to detach your hands from your body, shooting them outward to allow you to interact with the environment in different ways. It was exciting to see just how far they took this concept, providing you with different hand options that had their own unique abilities.
In a cage nearby, I could see the claw my old rival had given me.
The crab claw allows you to cut rope, which was essential for some puzzles. I also liked the attention to detail that they had here, as when you closed your hand into a fist with the controllers, the crab claw closed with a nice audio effect. The hook hand acted like a grappling hook, allowing you to grab onto specific points and reel yourself in to get to otherwise inaccessible areas. One part that surprised me was when I was required to figure out who two high-ranking pirates were based on their appearance and their hand tattoos. Then I had to steal their hands in order to use a biometric hand scanner to access the next area. Although it was a little silly, I found that puzzle to be fun and engaging. However, the game wasn't all fun. I want to acknowledge that this might not be a problem for everyone. In fact, it's likely a side effect of my Valve Index controllers. During gameplay, quite frequently you need to move your detached hand through an area to obtain an object or to activate a lever. This requires you to first point, then shoot your hand to a desired location. Then, you need to rotate the controller to control where your hand is pointing towards. Now, this was often more challenging than it should have been. Sometimes it felt like I couldn't orient the hand properly without contorting my arm and wrist in strange and uncomfortable ways. Next, you need to pull the trigger button to make your hand walk forward, making sure it's pointing in the correct direction. Then, once the hand approaches an item, it will automatically latch on. Finally, you press the grab or side buttons on your controller to retract your hand back to you. With the Valve Index controllers, which I was using, this control scheme does not work very well at all. Because the Index controller has individual tracking for every finger, if your middle, ring, and pinky fingers touch the controller at any point, it will trigger the side or grab buttons and cause your hand to retract. To avoid this, during puzzles I would have to keep my hand in a very uncomfortable position just to ensure that I didn't ruin my progress by accidentally activating the grab buttons and retracting my hand. This problem was further difficult to deal with when I was required to launch my head by holding the A and B buttons on the controller and then releasing them to get a better view of what my detached hand was doing. It was very awkward to push these buttons without accidentally grabbing onto the controller with the rest of my hand. For me, these control scheme problems made the game a huge annoyance and took a lot of the fun out of the whole experience. After about an hour and a half of playing the game, I decided it was too much of an issue for me to continue, so I stopped and requested a refund through Steam. I really wanted to like this game going in, and it definitely had some good moments. Overall, the problems with my controllers caused me to waste a lot of time working around the issues instead of actually playing the game as intended. If you do not have the Valve Index controllers, I think you should check out the game as it does a lot of things right and it has a lot of fun moments despite the issues I faced. To be clear, this is not the first time I've experienced issues with the Valve Index controllers in a game. Especially with older games that were released before the Index controllers were available, there can be some issues. That's not to say that the Index controllers are bad though. In titles like Half-Life Alyx, where the game was designed to take complete advantage of the Index controllers, it leads to an unrivaled, truly amazing experience. but for a game that came out in 2023, I really expect the developers to make sure that the game functions as intended with as many of the popularly available VR controllers as possible. In conclusion, Another Fisherman's Tale is a charming game with a lot of unique and fun game mechanics. The narrative was engaging, and the voice acting and cutscenes were a pleasant surprise.
Not so fast, Bob! You have something in mind.
I would recommend anyone try this game out, as long as you're not using the Valve Index controllers.